Naples. So good to have you here on Master Call. We'll begin in about 1 minute. What do you guys, anybody got their hand up, want to play? David, have you been on before, David?
No, sir. This is my first time.
Why? So to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
I got an invitation and I had a gap in my calendar and I figured I'd hop on for 30 minutes.
Well, that reminds me of how when I first started dating my wife, why she went out with me. She had a gap in her dating calendar, and so why not? I could go watch Dr. Phil or go out with Denny, and here we are.
Hey, did she KPA you as well?
Yes, she did.
I did the same thing with my girl, so.
Well, here's the thing, and we're talking Keller Williams now. Where are you? You're in Toronto, right?
I'm in Toronto, yeah. I'll be in Scottsdale. I believe the goal date with the lawyers is October 2nd.
Why are you going to Scottsdale?
I'm hired as the team leader of the Scottsdale or Keller Williams, Arizona, and I'm going to be working with Kristen as the director of growth for KCN.
Are you replacing Patrick?
I don't know who Patrick is, to be honest.
Oh, so you're on the call because my wife said to be on the call.
She didn't say anything. I just saw the invitation and I figured that I'd hop on. So I saw your name. I saw your name and I was like, I gotta hop on. It's been a little while. So
dude, I met you.
Yeah, we met. We had dinner together.
Yeah, mega camp. I got it. All right, here we go. I didn't put two and two together. I got to be careful talking about my wife because her world's so big. Okay, hey everybody, welcome to Denny Grimes Mastery of Real Estate, and we have it right there. It's Friday, September 8th already. Gosh, we're about ready to start the fourth quarter. I tell you what, I'm excited about though. Last night was football, and was anybody shocked by what happened there? World champions got beat, and I think it's kind of good because I'm kind of an NFC guy. So let's talk a little bit about where we want to go today. A lot of you guys know I do a recon, and you guys are on. If you're not on our daily call, this is a Keller Williams Maps call, 8:30 to 9 Eastern time every day, except for holidays. Take down the numbers. I'm one of the coaches. There's another coach, and that is growing. You know, right now we have about 50 on the call. It'll probably get to 150, 200 here soon. The mastery call is what I want this to be. Is it won't be the same thing because we have an hour. My goal is to go a little bit deeper with you, if that's okay. I want to keep it spiffy, and I wanted to make sure I'm hitting what you guys need. However, I would like to be able to use a little bit more sandpaper. Are you okay with that? And the way we do this is normally I have a co-host. I don't have one today. And if you aren't on camera and can be on camera, please turn your cameras on. That doesn't mean I'm going to call on you. And so if you can't have your camera on, that'd be great. And I'll say one more time, if your name is showing up as Sherry, if you just go ahead and change that so I get to know who you are. And if you raise your hand, that means you get to play. There will be a drawing. You have to be here on the end. I always give away a 30-minute coaching call. I combine you with someone. Here's somebody. Now, Christy Mock, that's somebody you'll want to pay attention to there, David. You know who that is? Okay, good. So I will have, if you participate by raising your hand, it'd be a buyer, seller, or an agent. I give away a 30-minute call. So here we go. I want to share something with you, the thought of the day. Now, if you guys have not already done so, it'd be very wise of you to set up a Google alert for your opinion leaders in your area. Nationally, that would be like Realtor.com, Realtor.com, or Lawrence Yun, Y-U-N, from the National Association of Realtors. Because what happens when you set up that Google alert, you get all these news stories right to your phone, because these news stories are the first domino that creates news stories that your customers are going to see. For example, there was a headline that came out the day before yesterday. And how would you like your buyer to see this? Let me just read you the headline. Here we go. And what do you think a buyer will think? This is the headline from Realtor.com. Now, Realtor.com, the real estate market could be on fire, and they would say, hey, look, it's just kind of, it's kind of cool. It's a good fire. They'll never say anything bad about the market. This is the headline. The top 10 cities where sellers are slashing prices right now. and where home buyers can score a bargain. Now, you think that's going to want them to your buyers to maybe dig in their heels a little bit? And so what I'm showing you is, and none of you guys may be from these cities. In the order: Huntsville, Alabama; Lafayette; McAllen, Texas; Jackson, Mississippi; Augusta, Georgia; Memphis, Tennessee. Imagine Tennessee, one of the hottest markets there is out there. Fort Collins, Colorado; Cape Coral, Florida. That's my market. So I've already sent this to my media sources around the TV and the newspaper. Hey, this is a national headline. Would you like some comment on it? That's what you can do as well. Greenville, South Carolina; Fort Wayne, Indiana. So that's kind of interesting that there's going to be headlines out there. Last week we talked about Good Morning America, maybe 2 weeks ago, or Good Morning America said interest rates were at a 20-year high. So what do you think that does to buyer momentum? Something else, the other side of that is this: sellers aren't selling as fast, are they? We have a very motivated seller in our area. They like us, etc., and they want to move. They want to move to Tennessee. Already have a contract on a house. Guess what? The home has been on the market 20 days, and after 10 days on the market, they were getting a little bit concerned. The one gentleman came in, and we had a meeting with him yesterday. He's lost 8 pounds worrying about this. So what that means to us is, as we work on our mastery role play, have you mastered the follow-up call? Have you mastered the conversation when basically the home isn't selling? What can you do? Because I can tell you the first thing your sellers are going to want is marketing. And I haven't said this in a while. If you want to debate me on it, okay, if you want to, but marketing, you write it down. Marketing doesn't sell houses, you guys. Any pushback? Are you all disciples? Any pushback on that? And to prove it is this: have you ever seen a great looking house? I mean, beautiful. It should be in Southern Living or some sort of fancy magazine. You'd see a glossy magazine. It's gorgeous. And it doesn't sell. Yeah. And they market the crap out of it. And have you ever seen a house that basically a hoarder lives there? And I've had one of those or 2 of those in my career, and it sells. Well, I mean, obviously, you don't want to take a lot of pictures of the hoarder's house, and you have also marketing on the other house. What is the common denominator? It's price. However, sellers believe marketing sells houses. Marketing is a drug for sellers, and they want you to be the supplier. So I want to have some conversations around stubborn buyers, if you'd like, and maybe some conversations around how you should be handling your follow-up with sellers. I see some hands up. Orlando, Mark, you've got your hands up. If you guys want to play, get your hands up. Hey, Rob. You got David on too. You see that? So he gets a gold star. All right, so here we go. Orlando from Orlando. Mark, you guys are up first. And you want a buyer or seller scenario. Mark?
I'd like a buyer scenario.
All right. And
maybe like a Facebook ad or an open house, somebody that came by and I'm doing a follow-up call from them, clicking on my ad, or they came to an open house.
All right, so you're going to follow up. All right, so you have a name and number. You're following up with the buyer.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. We can do that. Let me get my timer up here, and I'll go ahead and I'll be your buyer, and get your hand up for the next round. Let's go. And you're calling me. Go.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm speaking to Denny.
This is Denny.
Hey, Denny, Mark Tilley here from Keller Williams. We met this week in an open house I was hosting. How are you doing?
Good, Mark. I was at 3 or 4 open houses, so forgive me if I don't remember who you are.
No problem. You may remember I said I would follow up with you this Monday around about 12 p.m. And it was the house at 17 Main Street. And I was just calling, just giving you a call today to say thank you for coming by the open house and find out exactly what it is that had you looking at houses on Sunday.
Yeah, well, we were thinking about buying, but I'm hearing a lot of weird stuff in the media. Interest rates are super high. And I think there's going to be prices. A lot of people saying prices are going to fall. So we're going to like cool our jets for a while.
All right. So you did mention you were thinking about buying. Let me ask you, are you currently renting or do you own?
All right. So I always want, I'm not taking your time. That's beautiful. You guys, nice job, Mark. When you're talking to someone and you're unsure, I mean, eventually you find out about this. You might as well find out first. I can make some silly comment about it, but I won't. The bottom line is that's a great question to begin with, because am I an owner or am I a renter? And Mark, you're a little advanced, so I'm going to make it a tad challenging for you. I am an owner.
Awesome. So Denny, share with me what exactly it is that you were looking for or hoping, that you're looking. What are you looking for in a home right now?
Well, we're looking, we're looking for a nice house, a nicer house with, room for a pool. We're kind of in a zero lot line situation. We'd like to have a nice entertainment area in the back.
Oh, that's awesome. So, if you were to find that home with a pool, more entertainment, what would that mean to you and your family?
Well, it'd be fun, we could entertain and we kind of like that lifestyle.
Gotcha. Um, so, Danny, let me ask you. You mentioned that the interest rates were a little high. Other than interest rates, is there anything else holding you back from moving to a house with a better entertainment area, a pool where you and your family can hang out?
Well, the interest rates is just part of the factor. I think prices are going to erode, and the election is coming up, and so I think interest rates will drop down, and so I think probably maybe 8 months from now or so would be better.
I tell you. So interest rates are where they are. That's kind of so I mean, how long have you been looking for this house that you're looking for? When did you start looking?
Oh, we've been looking for probably 6 or 8 months.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, the interest rates was probably maybe 2% lower back then. How does it make you feel that you didn't take the opportunity to purchase this home back then when the interest rates were slightly lower?
Yeah, that would have been cool, but I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'll wait till they come down 2% by election.
All right. Well, Denny, here's the good news. The interest rates may or may not go up, but if you locked in at the current interest rates, your rate would not go up. And if they should come down, you could refinance and you could get in at a lower rate. That's something that would be an interest, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but what if they don't come down?
If they don't come down, well, then you're fortunate that you were able to lock in your payment at the current interest rate and that you're already in the home that you're looking for and you're building equity.
All right, there's your timer. I took a little bit of your time. I thought I hit stop, so I robbed you about 20 seconds. So, all right. So you think you're scratching me where I itch yet, Mark?
No, I think I needed to bring it down to the payment factor is $20 a day, $30 a day, worth you not having a pool, worth you not being able to entertain over the weekend. I should have bought the fear factor in the pain a little sooner.
Yeah. Well, you guys, here's the hang on a minute. I think I've got it right here. So that's the kind of we isolate, clarify, motivation. You went right there. Nice job. You're right on model. Didn't really get me to pain. One of the things I always want you to remember when someone is wanting to, they own and they want to buy, where do you want to go with that? So Orlando from Orlando, take that point right now and develop that point, because it's always true. If somebody owns and wants to buy, what's the question you want to ask?
Hey, repeat that again. What do you want me to start with, Denny?
Just so I'm a buyer and I own. You already found that I own. Then I want to buy something. What's because one of the first questions you want to ask a buyer: do you rent or own? One of the first questions you want to ask somebody who owns it wants to buy is what?
Do you need to sell before you buy?
There you go. Exactly. Did y'all hear that? You have to sell this house to buy another house. Now, what you're doing, that's a setup question, because now, all right, so I want to see if you can now take me down that road, ask that question, and then just pick up on what Mark was doing.
Denny, I just want to be clear. Do you need to sell this house in order to get to that home that can provide more entertainment for you?
Yes.
Great. Denny, would it be of value to you if I could show you a way how we can potentially accomplish both?
No.
No? You wouldn't want to learn how we could help you sell this home and at the same time buy your next one?
Well, I have no problem. I mean, I have no doubt you can sell my house and you can buy another one, but that doesn't address my concern that the interest rates are too high, and I think it'll be better if I wait.
Right. What makes you say that? Why you think it'd be better to wait?
I just read an article from Realtor.com that they say the prices in a lot of these cities are going down and buyers are getting great deals. And I think that, I get a better deal when I go to buy the lower interest rate.
Great. And do you remember that article? Did it specifically say this area that you were looking at? Was your area affected?
Well, the next door city. I mean, it's kind of in our same county, so I think we'll be affected by it. Why set you up so big? Come on, Orlando, pressure.
Oh man.
So if somebody has to sell in order to buy, what's the other side of the coin? Anyone?
They go to sell, Denny, don't they?
Is it the market the same that you sell in as you buy in? If you sell high, you buy high. Sell low, you buy low.
There you go. Now, you and Mark have this weird accent. Where are you all from? You all from Kentucky? Where is that from? I'm not really sure. So yes,
Alabama.
So the question is, do you want to sell high and buy high? Or do you want to sell high and buy low? I mean, they can't. Well, there's only one way they can have it both ways. And what would that be? Take advantage of the market it is right now. So if they think the market's going to get better, then they would buy now and sell later. If they think the market's going to get worse, they would sell now, find temporary shelter, and rent something. Does that make sense? Always remember that. Buyer, question one, do you rent or own? If they rent, you know how to go down that path. If they own, you have to sell in order to buy. And if that question's yes, then whatever concern they have about the market, it's a bad time. Well, okay, well, do you want to buy high and sell low, or the other way around? Or how would you like to have your cake and eat it too? And there is a way to do that if they don't mind going to temporary accommodations. So how does that help? Was that helpful? Now let's take a seller.
But you're still stuck with the interest issue or the objection.
You want to go back to that?
Hey, Denny, I'm sorry. Circling back to that question. So you would say, do you want to sell high and buy high, or do you want to sell high and buy low? Which do you prefer? That's all you would ask?
Well, role play that with me. You just be the seller.
Okay.
And you don't want to sell now because you think you don't want to buy now because you think the market's going to get better. You good?
Okay.
Now you have to sell, right? To buy?
Yeah, we need to sell.
And you don't want to buy now because you think the market's going to go down.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for.
Oh, I get it. So now I got it. Let me ask you this. So you want to sell, you want to wait for the market to drop so you can sell low and buy low, right?
No.
You see, that's kind of like a slap upside the head. That's the thought that they're not thinking of.
I love it. That's it.
And there's some theatrics in this. This gets to be really fun when you get really confident with it. It's kind of like when I watch golfers, because I'm kind of a hack, and they know how to bend the ball this way. I bend the ball accidentally, and I wish I could do it on purpose, right? Golf's fun when you can do those things. Having conversation's fun because you're thinking 3 moves in advance. Does that help, Orlando?
Yeah.
All right, so I want somebody who has a listing right now, and the listing's not selling, and you want to practice a conversation with them to help get them into reality. Do we have anyone raising their hand? I got Mark, your hand is still up. That could have been from before. Cam, your hand is up, but your name is Sherry. So is there anybody else that would like to do it? Well, I'll use Cam.
I don't. I just had my hand up to play. I don't have a listing right now that hasn't sold.
Okay. Who's got a listing that wants to work on a conversation?
but I could role play it. Yeah, I could do the conversation.
All right, you guys are bumping around. Rob, your hand was up. What happened? You take it down?
Am I
No,
lagging?
Hang
I'm
on.
happy
Can
to.
you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So we want to have a conversation about an overpriced listing.
I
the
don't know
seller?
about that. I'm not saying it's overpriced. It's not sold.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
the seller. I'm the seller.
Okay.
And I'm concerned. It's been on the market a month. And
Yeah, so Denny, when we sat down to list your property, do you remember when we went over the 3 outcomes
that
would happen when we put your property on the market?
I don't. You'd have to refresh my memory.
So we discussed the 3 possible outcomes of us going on the market. Outcome number 1 would be that we got low to no showings. Outcome number 2 would be that we got showings and no offers or poor offers. And outcome number 3 would be that we get the house sold.
Okay.
So based on that, where do you think we're at currently, Denny?
Well, we've had 5 showings. We have 5 showings in 4 weeks, so that's more than 1 a week. So we're not in 3, and that's what I want to talk to you about. I'm going to talk about your marketing.
Sure.
So,
so I'm happy to talk to you about marketing.
You're interrupting. You're interrupting me. Slow down.
Sorry, there's a little delay here, Denny. Sorry about that.
There is. I get it. I understand. So I think we're in outcome 2.
Okay. And what does that mean? What does that mean about our current listing price, in your opinion?
Well, we've been on the market now. We've been on the market now just 4 weeks, I guess, right? About 28 days. What is the average market time in this area for your listings?
I would say about 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. So I'm not near as worried right now then, because we're just right in that sweet spot. So maybe we just haven't given enough time yet.
That could be the case, except we haven't had any offers yet. So let me ask you a question, Denny. If I could show you for sure that I'm getting this in front of a large audience of people, if I could show you that data, what would that mean? If I could show you that we had gotten it in front of a lot of folks, but we had only had 5 showings, what would that possibly indicate?
Well, okay. How would you do that?
Well, I can definitely show you the analytics from everywhere that we're posting this online through our through the MLS, all of the different websites that it go to, like Zillow, Realtor.com, KW.com. If I could show you all that data to show you that hundreds, if not thousands of people are liking this house, if they're looking at it, but they're not really asking to see it, or that they haven't put in any offers yet, would that indicate to you that we maybe need to let the bait down a little bit, if you get my drift?
Yeah, okay. So basically, when you meet with sellers early on, they want to blame you. No, they want to blame anything but their price. The sellers follow a typical path. Okay, so I was just mentioning, if you're late to the call, we've got one on the market 20 days. We had to sit down with them yesterday. In fact, I've got a daughter that's a rock star, and I stayed out of all their conversations, but I could tell they were getting really nervous about it. So anyway, so let's have a meeting. 10 days on the market, you know what they said? Well, our friends said when they read our listing that our description, that why are you talking about the neighborhood and the clubhouse and all the things in there? Maybe we should rearrange the words, right? Or we need to redo the pictures, and we have to should rearrange the pictures, or maybe you should hold an open house. Well, in fact, I'm going to go down that path right now. So that's all well and good there, Cam. But I think you haven't shown it at all, and we had 4 showings, and we haven't had an open house. So why don't you do some open houses?
Sure, Denny. I'd be happy to discuss the opportunity of doing an open house. You know, by and large, if I could show you that about 80% of home sales are the result of the online marketing done by the listing agent, and by a combination of the online marketing done by the listing agent and by the buyer's agents themselves bringing the buyers, would that be helpful as an indicator that we're on the right path here?
Stop there now. Okay, so did anybody hear something there that could be a little bit dangerous?
Would that be helpful?
I want you guys to be listening, and you're going to learn. You're going to learn a lot just by listening to that. Now, he wants to show me where his online marketing is causing, 80% of the homes are selling because of online marketing. What's the next thing I'm going to want to see? I want to see online marketing. And if 80% of the homes are selling because of online marketing and my house isn't sold, might I question whether he's doing it correctly or enough of it? Could you see where that could be a little bit dangerous?
Yes.
So here's this is where you're going to earn your stripes. Number one, do you all know why it hasn't sold? Now, again, 20 days should be in the sweet spot price range, should be an indication. If it hasn't sold in 20 days and you had several showings on it, or maybe no showings on it, you should probably know the beta's in the wrong spot. Is that it? Would you just go thumbs up or nod your head? Because that's first base for becoming a good listing agent. Because you can market the crap out of it. It's not going to help. So if that's the case, what's the truth? Let's take down the filters. Somebody tell me the raw truth. Somebody.
You're overpriced.
Property is overpriced.
Okay. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Now, there's a skill in doing that. However, I would rather us just be straight up and say and have that conversation up front. We have the 3 expectations. Mark did a pretty good job of going over those 3 expectations. If you don't have that sheet, just email me at Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. I'll send you the PDF. And you set the expectations up front. So in this particular case, this is how it would go. Now, Cameron, go ahead and just reverse it with me. You're the seller. Why didn't you hold some open houses? Okay, we could do that. And again, you've just gone over the analytics. We've had, 345. We've come up in 345 searches. 17 people have taken the virtual tour in the last 2 weeks, and we've had 2 showings. So basically, a larger population is saying no. We're an outcome 2. Does that? And you're saying you're outcome 2. Do you agree with that assessment, Cameron?
Yes.
So
what about my photos and my listing description?
Okay, so we'll talk about that. So would you want to change that?
Yeah, maybe that's why it's not selling.
Okay, now what's second base, you guys?
Motivation.
Well, you said you wanted to be in Tennessee by November 1st, right?
Yeah.
So we can change it. We can arrange it any way you want. This is your home, your listing. The only thing that's going to matter, though. So let me just ask you: you were shopping for a home in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, I lost you there for a minute, but yeah, I got to get to Tennessee November 1st.
Have you been looking at homes online?
Yeah.
And so do you set up your search criteria based on the pictures or the price?
Well, if it looks good and it seems to be priced right, then yeah, then we'll set up, if it seems reasonable.
However,
have you
seen a home that you've liked that you didn't like the order of the pictures, so you didn't want to look at it?
Maybe not really that often.
So if you have to be there in November, we have maybe about 3 weeks to get your home under contract so it closes on time. So if you want to, watch this, guys. I just thought of this today. If you're taking the wrong medicine, you've heard this before, how long do you want to take it before you take the right medicine?
I don't know. Sounds like we only have a week or so.
Well, let me ask you, if you're taking the wrong medicine and somebody says, well, why don't you put it in another bottle instead of a brown bottle, put it in a white bottle? You think it'll have a different effect?
No.
If you want to stay with a fishing analogy, I'm giving you different things you can say, you guys. If you see someone fishing in the parking lot, not even in the water, in the parking lot, and he wants to change bait and still fish in the parking lot, will that change the outcome? Somehow you guys have to find a way based on your relationship to give them the truth. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't change pictures. I'm not saying I wouldn't change the description, because I had a seller one time that basically, this is a lesson I learned. I call it the shadow of the mailbox on the driveway. I had a seller after about 3 or 4 weeks call me and say, hey, look, I know why my home isn't selling. And this is before I was really experienced. I said, well, why? It's the photos, he said. Take a look at the front photo. Now, I've seen some ugly photos out there, guys. If you're having a bad day, just go look at some of the real estate agents' photos. The garage was down. There wasn't big oil stains on the driveway. It really looked nice. I said, I don't see what you're talking about. He said, look at the shadow of the mailbox on the driveway. So in their mind, you've got to take away all those little types of things. However, I don't mind doing that. However, can you have the conversation with them? If we don't change the price, we're taking the same wrong pill and putting it in a different bottle. And I can come 20 or 30 different analogies. You want ice, instead of putting it in the freezer, you're putting it in a cupboard. You're not going to get ice. So who wants to take potluck? I've got the spinner here. We can do whatever you want. I've got the wheel. And I'm not looking, so just speak up as I reset this. Who's ready for a role play? Mark, your hands back up.
Unless somebody else puts their hand up that hasn't a turn.
I don't know why. I don't know why people are so quiet. Rob, you had your hand up. Does that mean you wanted to play?
I can always play if you want me to play.
Yeah, I need you. I'm going to have you start out with being I'm going to have you be an expired. You want to make an expired call, Mark?
Sure.
Now, do you do expires?
I used to do ISA, so I ventured with those calls, yes.
All right, let's see this. Okay, Rob, you're making an expired call to Rob. You guys sound like brothers.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, good afternoon. Am I speaking to Rob?
It is. Who am I speaking to, sorry?
Excuse me?
Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Rob, my name is Mark Tilley. I'm with Keller Williams. I'm just giving you a call today. I noticed your house recently came off, your listings no longer coming up as available. And I just wanted to see what happened.
Obviously, yes, not sold.
Great. So, Rob, when you did have your house on the market, what were your plans and where were you planning on going?
Geez, Denny, do you want me to be really hard on this call or be relatively easy?
What mood are you in?
Well, I'll be a seller. Look, I don't really feel comfortable talking about that on the phone with you.
Rob, I totally understand that. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Other than feeling comfortable speaking on the phone with you right now, if you were still able to put your house on the market, get it sold, would you still want to have those plans that you were planning on doing?
Do you have a buyer?
Rob, I do not have a buyer right now. If I did have a buyer, I would have probably bought them by while your house was on the market. What is it about me having a buyer right now that's important to you?
Well, obviously you're calling me though. So, yeah, what was the purpose of the phone call?
Well, as I mentioned, I did see your house recently came off the market, and I wanted to see if you had any intentions of putting it back in the market. And I was just interested to see what you planned on doing and how I could help you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. Look, I'm not interested in listing it, but I am interested in selling it. So if you do have a buyer, feel free to give me a call and let me know, and I'm happy to entertain that.
Okay. Rob, just real quick, when you did have it on the market, obviously buyers never came by. So wouldn't you rather be looking at getting a situation where you do have multiple buyers coming by, where it was marketed to a lot more than just one buyer?
Look, a friend of mine who's a real estate expert said to me that the longer it's on the market, it will become stale. So I'm wanting to take it off. But look, by all means, if you have someone that wants to pay my price, then by all means, you can bring them through. And if we can work out a deal, then I'm happy to sign.
All right, let's pause a moment. So I guess he's not gonna roll over. However, I think he's sending you semaphore. He's sending you flag. He's sending you a message. Are you seeing it?
I'm seeing that he wants. I'm seeing that he wants a buyer. I've never been a big one. I've got a buyer. I'll come by and take a look at your house and see if my buyer is a match for your house, because I think numerous agents have already said, I've got a buyer.
Well, how would you know if the house meets? Well, first of all, just here's the thing. I'm not comfortable talking about it on the phone. I said, okay, would you rather meet in person? I'd have gone right there.
Okay.
Anybody else hear that? I mean, Rob, what you said? Well, would you rather us meet in person?
No, he just said I'm not comfortable on the phone. So,
what would you have said if I had said that? Would you rather meet in person for 15 minutes? Rob?
Like basically I was just giving him an opportunity. How I would have taken that though, I would have said, oh, look, absolutely. Look, I totally understand that. If I was to be able to find your buyer in today's marketplace, would you be looking to sell? And obviously, absolutely. Look, I haven't seen your home yet. I don't know what your home offers, but how about we make a time? I can pop through your home at a time that's convenient with you and myself for 15 minutes. And let me have a look through your home just to know what it represents, and then go from there. And that would be my in. And then I would try and go there and then list the property there, rather than having too much conversation on the phone, because they don't know you. It's going to get confrontational. You've called me and you're mentioning to me that my house hasn't sold. It's sat on the market. And there may have been reasons as to why, but it's just confrontational. So again, get the opportunity. There's an open opportunity there. Get the opportunity. Everyone has a buyer. So again, that's your in. Get the appointment, go there, and then back yourself to try and go and win the listing while you're there.
Does that make sense, Mark?
It does make sense. I've heard from both schools. Don't come with the prospect that you have a buyer, because if I had a buyer, why didn't I bring that buyer when my house was on the market? But well, it is a good in. It is a good in.
Okay, Rob, I think that's where I'd have gone. I said, well, he's mentioned he still wants to sell. Now, again, if you're calling an expired listing, in fact, write this down to make sure I can get it right, because I may not be able to say it right the second time. I may not sell it right the first time. I have to have things in like simple buckets. Here's the bucket. Bucket number one, when you're talking to a buyer or seller, the first thing we have to determine, do they really want to buy or sell? That's number one. Number two, if they don't want to buy or sell, then we're probably not have to wait a while. If they do want to buy or sell, bucket two, the question is, do they want the assistance of a real estate agent to help them buy or sell? Question number three is, assuming they are going to be talking to an agent or open to talking to an agent, will they consider me to help them? Does that help you? Like with basically, you've got to start, probably dating's the same thing. You have to figure out some basic things up front before you get into the let's Starbucks thing. However, so he is raising his hands. I want to sell. I don't want to list. Newsflash, most expired people don't want to list. They want to move. And that's what he was saying. He kept saying it like, well, hey, if you have a buyer. And so I don't want to beat it to death for you, Mark, but for other people out there, I would say, I don't know if I have a buyer for your home because I've not seen your home yet. Can I set up a preview? Now they can push back on that, or the typical one. And who wants to answer this? Well, where were you when my house was on the market? Who wants to handle that for a minute and a half? That's classic bold stuff right there.
I would say, well, I'm sorry, John, Denny, or Rob, your agent didn't market it to me, and therefore I wasn't aware that it was on the market.
Right. That could be one. What's another one? What would you say to that, Rob? Well, where were you when my house was on the market?
As if I'm talking as a buyer agent, or
as an agent, yeah. So I'm now the expired. Hey, well, where were you? My house was on the market for 180 days. And you never showed it.
I mean, it could be, look, I didn't see your property. The marketing was supposedly quite bad, or your agent didn't market it correctly, or I'm working with a buyer at the moment who's just brand new to the marketplace here, who's just relocated. So potentially it may suit them who wasn't available back then.
Okay. Another good answer could be, hey, look, I have been focused on getting my sellers moved. In that 180-day period that I said I had 6 or 12 or 212 transactions I handled. So would you like the same type of attention to your home? You know, so there's ways to, I mean, I think expired, they go to classes on how to basically make us go away. So we just have to be trained a little bit more. Okay.
Exactly. I was just saying to Mark before, I would just remove the, would you like me to I can come and list your property, list it? Like, I mean, again, as what Denny said, they don't want to list, they want an outcome. So I would just try and focus on, again, like they don't want to list it. And it's like, okay, no worries. Well, I understand that. Just so I know what your home is like and what it represents inside, because I can only see what it looks like from the outside. But you know, to get the appointment, go in there, and then back yourself in there to have, you know, connect with them, create rapport with them, sell yourself in there, and then potentially sort of go from there with them, and see if they'll date you for 7 days, see if they'll date you for 3 days. You know, try and, even if you can, list it when you're there for a few days and prove to them, and then they can always extend it from there.
Nice job, thanks. So I've got some other folks here that don't have their hands up. I got Liz, Naomi, I've got Sandra, I've got Jacqueline. Who wants to role play? James.
Sorry, Denny, I'm driving, so I can't. I'm listening, but I can't really play.
Well, can't you drive with your knee? Can't you drive with your knee?
Well, that interferes with all my texting.
Got it.
Why don't we initiate Noemi into this, because this is her first time on the call.
Naomi, Houston.
Mm-hmm.
You want to play?
Do it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and play.
All right. Do you work with buyers or sellers?
I'm a fairly new agent. Sandra and I are talking about me joining her team.
Oh, Sandra. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So, Sandra, then let's see. You'll see how nice you'll be here. You're the buyer.
I'm the buyer.
Yep.
Okay.
And you're a little bit concerned about buying because interest rates are too high.
Okay.
Okay, who's calling who?
You're calling me.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Sandra?
It is. Who is this?
Sandra, this is Noemi. I got your number from Amanda. She told me you were interested in purchasing a home.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're thinking about it.
What step of the process are you in at the moment?
We've already gotten pre-approved with our lender. So that's about as far as we've gotten.
Okay. What's the time frame that you're looking at to be in your new home?
Within 6 months.
Okay, so you have some time. Do you want to start the search?
Like right now?
Like right now?
Well, our biggest concern right now is the interest rates. You know, they're a little on the high side.
Yes, they are.
Hang on.
Yes.
Okay, so Naomi, you're new, and we're gonna coach you. Is that okay?
Yes.
A couple of quick things. I love the question, what step are you in? Now, be prepared. Some people may not know how to answer that. I don't know. I'm looking. Okay. However, I think it's a good question. Next, she said time frame, 6 months. So you say, oh, you have some time. What does that make them do?
Not have motivation.
Sit on it.
Yeah. So, I guess then we got to get started. See the difference?
Okay.
Interest rates are too high. What did you say?
I said, I don't think I even addressed that.
You did.
I think
you said damn straight they are.
Oh, they are.
And you see how that may not really work in your favor long term.
Yes.
So, all right. So watch this. So anyway, great. I'm gonna revert. Okay, so I'm gonna take over for you and get ready. I'm gonna come back to you in a minute.
Okay.
So Sandra, so you say your interest rates are too high?
Uh-huh.
All right. So we talked about this earlier. What's the next question? So currently, do you own now or are you renting, Sandra?
Right now we're in a month to month.
Oh, okay. And how long have you been renting?
Only about a year.
Okay. And
we relocated from Florida.
Sure. And you've been renting and now you want to own. Is that right?
Yes.
Is there anything other than interest rates? Now I'm isolating now. Is there anything other than interest rates keeping you from making a move?
We would, the news says that the pricing of houses are going to come down. So we'd like to, see that happen as well too.
Okay. And let me ask you why, if everything was right, I mean, tell me why you want to leave where you are to go to the home.
Well, we're just tired of paying a rent. We're paying somebody else's equity, so we'd like to have our own equity, but we want to have our cake and icing and eat it all at the same time.
So here's my opinion, guys. Okay. When they say that, don't stop, because that's not all. There's more to the motivation. It will have something to do with, they want a yard, they want a 3-car garage, they want a basement, they want privacy. You've got to it has to get beyond I want to build equity, because there's not a lot of emotion in that. I mean, they could buy gold bullion or something if they wanted to build equity.
Okay, hit me. I've got one for you.
All right, what?
So our son and grandson and daughter-in-law just moved back from Austin to Houston. So we're really considering moving into the city as opposed to being out in the burbs. But there again, too, the pricing is going to be higher and taxes are going to be higher. So that's our motivation, is to get closer to our kids and grandkids.
Well, that's not a good idea.
Well, my kids like me. I can't help it if yours don't, but
Yeah, you'll be sorry.
I know. Trust me, I know.
So, all right. Now, I'm going to let somebody, we're going to tag team this. Who's got the next question? There's a couple of ways you could go. You experienced people here. What when she said that, hey, I want to move to the city, but the prices or whatever, ask.
We're assuming she's still renting, right?
No, yeah, she's still renting. That's correct.
Wait, are we talking to Sandra?
Yep.
Sandra, let me ask you. You say the interest rates are high. I'm curious, what is your current monthly and rent?
4,500.
4,500. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to decide to own, right, and start building equity, what's your most comfortable payment that you can afford?
Well, what I feel comfortable with and what I can afford are two different things.
That's a fair answer. You're going to get that. Go
right.
On.
So
like for Sandra. Sorry. Keep going.
I love it. Sandra, that was my fault. I should ask what can you afford to pay?
Right now we would like to keep it below 5,000 a month.
So 5,000. So that's about a difference about $500.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is mastery, so I'm going to slow down just a minute. What did she say?
We'd like.
Yes. What does that mean?
We don't have to.
There you go. Make sure you're hearing that.
We don't have to, right?
Well,
I didn't say that, but that's what that means. Sorry. Go ahead, Denny. You're close.
She said what I'd like to and what I can afford, and then I give you knuckle bumps. A lot of people would have left it alone. You had enough guts to ask, well, what would you like, and then what can you afford for the ride home, Sandra? You asked the question. I just ask it differently. Now, she did not answer the second part of that question, did you? She said, I would like to have it. Now, is that what she would like to have or what she can afford? So that's what I want. That's why we have the listening part, because it's those little clues So, okay, so then this is what I'd ask. Sandra, is that what you'd like to, or what you could afford if it were the perfect home? And I rarely use perfect home.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously can afford more, but we just, we would like to keep it below 5 and under.
Okay.
If possible. I'll give you that hook.
Got it.
Denny, can I say something?
You may.
In relationship to the affordability that Sandra thinks she has, my question will be, have you talked to a lender? How are you going to purchase this dream home?
Yeah, I already said that I talked to my lender. I'm already pre-approved.
Oh, you did that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
That's okay. That's okay.
And by the way, you guys, sometimes in your initial conversation, and you can tell, I mean, obviously Sandra's sharp, but if you're talking to somebody that is sharp like that, probably they know. The other thing is, yes, you want to find out if they talk to the lender, but we don't need a lender yet. They may not know for sure, and that would be another step. I don't want you to give up on the call right now and have them talk to a lender and have you start over again. I want to go down this road to find out, assuming that you can afford it, because you still have to deal with the elephant in the room, which is what? Rates are too high and maybe be a bad time to buy. So don't be so fast to turn these people over to the lender. All right, Orlando, you were doing good. I'll give you back the reins and the microphone. So she said, I'd like to be at 5,000. And I think that the last thing, the hook she said, if possible. Where do you go from there?
So Sandra, it looks like the difference of $16 a day between where you are and where you feel at your highest end for that home. Is $16 a day going to stop you from getting that home for you being closer to your kids and your grandkids?
No, Orlando, as long as it's at, right around that 5,000, I'm okay with that. You start pushing 7,000, 8,000, then it's a different conversation for us.
Sandra, and I think that's why we should start this process of moving forward, comfortable and saving that $16 a day to get you closer to your grandkids, your kids.
All right, now. It's not computing with me. The difference between 5,000 and 7,000 to 8,000 is not an interest rate difference. So where I thought your issue was the interest rates.
Well, it was, but I also said that it was it wasn't, I can afford more, but even at the 5,000, I didn't want a high interest rate.
All right. So, well, okay. So so let me ask you the question. If you find what you guys want that's close to your family and it's in your affordability range, is it really relevant to what the interest rate is?
I guess if you put it that way, Denny, it's not. Maybe we can do some sort of creative financing in order to make it more palatable. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thought is this. You want to be close to family. You've got kids and grandkids, right?
Yes.
So if you could go there and be close to them now and lock in the cost of ownership, where the only thing you would be looking forward to is making it go down, never up like your rent. And you'll be taking your kids or picking them up, your grandkids up from school. Would that be better than waiting 6 months or a year until the election, which may or may not change anything, and you just missed a year of their lives?
Well, let's pray that it does change. And yeah, that would
right.
We could do that.
So anyway, great job, Orlando, breaking it down. What I'd like to see you do, if you're going to do the $16 a day, is take them through the steps, because we missed some steps there. And Sandra's that type of buyer. I mean, there's a lot of buyers out there that you're going to talk to. Money isn't the issue. It's more of, that's why we sometimes ask, is this an affordability issue or a will issue? They want to pay 5,000. They can pay more. And so assuming now, all right, so Sandra, based on what you want close to the city, it's $7,000 a month.
If it's the perfect house and it ticks off all our boxes, I don't think we would have a problem in doing that.
Well, now you have the parameters. Now you have to go, and basically start that process, right? So we have about 3 minutes or 4 minutes to do one. Then we'll do the drawing. You got to be on the phone to win. And let's have somebody else that hasn't played. Lisa, you've been kind enough to have your camera on. Would you like to play? You're muted still.
I'm a little scared, but sure.
Well, you can. All right. So
welcome to the club.
Yeah. Do you work with buyers or sellers?
Right now I work with buyers.
Okay. You've heard it. I'm going to give you an easy one. We're sitting. I just went through an open house, and I like the house a lot. And have you ever had an open house yet?
No.
Okay. So I just come through the open house.
Brand new.
So I like the house a lot, but I think, I don't think now's a good time to buy. What do you think, Lisa?
Oh, okay. Well, what makes you say that?
Well, interest rates are higher than they've ever been, and prices are really up. So I think it doesn't seem like a very good time.
Okay. So do you rent or own right now?
Oh, you taking notes? I love it. We're renting.
Okay. So what do you pay for rent right now?
About $3,500.
Okay. And how is that working for you?
I don't understand that question.
How is that working for you right now? Is that affordable or?
Okay, now you know why I said that? Is that a clear question? Well, it works pretty good. I just Venmo them the money every month. That kind of works. What are you really attempted to ask me?
Are you comfortable with paying that? Well, I guess I need to get to the interest rate, right?
Well, not I brought it up. So yeah, I mean, we don't like paying rent. If you're asking, I mean, we can afford it, but we don't like it.
Okay.
Right up here. See it? Go to motivation.
Okay. All right. So what makes you want to buy instead of rent?
See, now that's where you want to go. Well, we're an apartment complex. We don't have a garage. We don't have a yard. We can't have a dog. I mean, that's a big deal for renters, right? And I'm thinking about starting an alpaca farm.
Absolutely. I can understand that. I have a farm too. So what exactly are you looking for if this house doesn't meet your standards?
Okay, well, this house does meet our standards. We like it, but I don't think it's a good time to buy. Now, I purposely took you off criteria. I think I said this earlier on the call. 80% of our conversation might have been this morning. 80% of our conversation should deal with motivation, 20% on criteria. Don't get off motivation and go to criteria because you got to have some criteria. When would you like to move? Blah, blah, blah. I'll give you one more minute. I like this house, but the market is a bad time to buy. What would you say? You can't flunk this test.
Okay, well, and I can understand that, and I can understand how you feel about it. It's a bad time to buy. For me, I would just go straight to equity. I don't.
Okay, let me demonstrate this. So all right, so you're paying $3,500 a month now, right? How long have you been renting, Lisa?
A year.
And when did you first have the idea you wanted to own?
When we wanted to expand.
When did you first have the idea?
I've always had it. I just haven't been able to do it.
So why didn't you act sooner?
Well, I just saw the open house and I thought I'd come by and see how it was going.
Okay, maybe I'm not being clear. So you've been wanting to have the idea of wanting to own. What I'm trying to get at for some time. I ask you, why didn't you act 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. It's just, the interest rates go up and down and I don't know.
All right. So The reason I'm taking you back there is that when you say you're going to come up with a reason, well, we didn't know. It won't be interest rates. For 2 years ago, we didn't have the money. It was too crazy, the market. Then I'm going to say, would you wish you would have acted back then? And if you had acted back then, what would have happened? What would be the answer? Well, their interest rates would have been lower and they'd already gained that equity, right? So if you could go back and do it again, would you do it differently? I'm not future pacing them. I'm taking them back so I can future pace them. Well, we don't want that to happen again, do we? So how would you like? Then I'm going to say, okay, then I'm going to start finding out it's not the rate, it's going to be the payment. I'm running out of time, so I don't have time to do that. But nice job. You got a very nice flow, very, very nice voice, pace, etc. Very nice. So was anybody making a list of people that were playing today? Orlando, were you?
I did not have a list, but it was a small group. So far I got Cameron, Mark, Noemi, Lisa, Sandra, and then that was it.
That was you got Lisa, right?
I did.
Okay, how many is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6, including myself. There'll be 7.
7. Okay, so Mark, what month were you born?
April.
That's 4. Who's number 4?
That would be 1, 2, 3. Noemi.
Noemi, you won 30-minute call with me.
Great.
Nice job, Noemi.
So good job.
Put deodorant on Noemi.
Coach Danny Grimes at Gmail. You guys have a great weekend. It's Friday. It's happy hour somewhere, and I love you, mean it. If I can add value to you, let me know. Coach Danny Grimes at Gmail. Knuckle bump. Be careful out there.
Thank you, Denny.
Thank you, folks.
Bye, y'all.
Have a good weekend.